Did you know that more than 300,000 Americans currently live in the Philippines, and the number is growing every single year? From retirees in quiet coastal towns to young digital nomads in bustling Cebu cafes, Americans are trading in the fast pace of U.S. life for something completely different on the other side of the Pacific. Picture this: pristine white sand beaches in Palawan, skyscrapers rising over Manila's business districts, street food sizzling in night markets, and a karaoke session with new friends that lasts until sunrise. The Philippines is far more than a vacation destination. For hundreds of thousands of Americans, it has become home. But here's the big question: why are so many Americans leaving the United States to start fresh in the Philippines? Is it the dramatically lower cost of living, where a U.S. pension stretches 2 or even 3 times further than back home? Is it the warmth of Filipino hospitality and a sense of community many say they struggle to find in the States? Or is it simply the allure of a slower pace of life surrounded by sunshine, palm trees, and endless islands? In this video, we'll break it all down. We'll look at the economics, the lifestyle, and the opportunities that pull people here, as well as the challenges that come with uprooting your life and moving halfway across the world. By the end, you'll understand why the Philippines has quietly become one of the top expat destinations for Americans, and maybe even start wondering if it could be right for you too. Historical background. To really understand why so many Americans are drawn to the Philippines, we have to look back at history. The connection between the two nations goes back over a century. After the Spanish-American War in 1898, the Philippines became a U.S. territory, and for nearly 50 years the islands were under American rule. That era left a lasting imprint, from the widespread use of English to an educational system modeled after the U.S. Then came World War II, when American and Filipino soldiers fought side by side against Japanese occupation. That shared sacrifice forged an alliance that still resonates today. Even after independence in 1946, the U.S. maintained a major presence, with military bases in Subic Bay and Clark Air Base becoming hubs not only for defense, but also for American families, businesses, and communities. These bases seeded the earliest expat enclaves. Many veterans chose to stay, marrying into Filipino families and settling permanently. Some returned later in life, seeking the familiar comforts of a country they once called a temporary home. This cycle helped normalize the idea of Americans living in the Philippines long-term. And then there's language. With English taught in schools and widely spoken across cities and towns, Americans find it remarkably easy to communicate, navigate daily life, and integrate compared to many other Asian destinations. That's why the Philippines has always felt both familiar and foreign. A place where you can order a burger and fries while still hearing the local beat of jeepney horns and the chatter of Tagalog or Bisaya. For Americans, it's not an alien world. It's a unique blend of East and West, a cultural bridge that makes settling here feel more natural than you might expect. The cost of living advantage. One of the biggest reasons Americans are flocking to the Philippines is simple. The cost of living is dramatically lower. For many, this is the deciding factor between barely scraping by in the U.S. and living comfortably abroad. Take housing, for example. In New York City, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment can easily reach $3,500 a month. In Manila, you can find a modern condo in a good neighborhood for $600 to $800. In Cebu, that number drops even further, sometimes to just $400 for a spacious, fully furnished place. Utilities are cheaper, too, and you won't be crushed by skyrocketing energy bills like in the States. Food is another game changer. A trip to the local market brings baskets of fresh vegetables, fish, and tropical fruit for a fraction of U.S. grocery prices. Eating out is just as affordable. A hearty local meal might cost $3, while even Western restaurants are half the price of their American counterparts. Healthcare, often a financial nightmare in the U.S., is affordable here, with quality hospitals and clinics charging only a fraction of what you'd expect back home. For retirees, this difference is life-changing. Imagine living on a fixed Social Security check of $1,500 per month. In Los Angeles, that might barely cover rent. In the Philippines, it pays for rent, utilities, food, and even some travel to nearby islands. With money left over, stories abound of retirees who say they've retired like kings on modest pensions, simply because their dollars stretch 2 or 3 times further here. And it's not just retirees. Remote workers and digital nomads earning US salaries find that the cost gap gives them far greater freedom. Instead of working 2 jobs to cover expenses, they work 1 and still have time to enjoy island hopping or weekend adventures. For many Americans, it's not just about saving money. It's about reclaiming their quality of life, something that has become harder to afford in the US. Tropical lifestyle and natural beauty. Of course, lower costs would mean little without quality of life. And here, the Philippines delivers in a way few countries can match. With over 7,000 islands, this archipelago is a tropical paradise. White sand beaches, turquoise waters, and lush mountains are never far away. For many Americans, the shift from a concrete jungle to palm-lined shores is the ultimate upgrade. Scuba diving in Apo Reef, surfing in Siargao, island hopping in Palawan, hiking in the Cordillera Mountains. Adventure is built into daily life. But it's not just about dramatic vacations. Even everyday living feels different. Instead of sitting in rush-hour traffic for hours on end, many expats stroll to local markets, sip coffee by the beach, or ride a motorbike through winding coastal roads. That slower pace is more than a lifestyle choice. It has real impacts on physical and mental health. Fresh air, year-round sunshine, and fresh produce contribute to healthier living. Stress levels drop. Many expats talk about sleeping better, walking more, and finally feeling present after years of grinding in the US. For some, it feels like rediscovering joy. One retiree described his move as the first time in 30 years I've actually lived, not just worked. Another digital nomad shared that she found her creativity return after months of swimming, hiking, and disconnecting from constant stress. The Philippines offers not just a lower cost of living, but a more vibrant, nature-filled life that nourishes the soul. For Americans burn out from the hustle of US cities, this tropical environment feels like medicine. Filipino hospitality and community. What really makes Americans stay, though, isn't just beaches or cheap rent. It's the people. Filipinos are famously warm and welcoming, a trait rooted in the cultural value of bayanihan, or community spirit. It's the idea that neighbors help each other, strangers are welcomed, and no one is truly alone. For many Americans, this is a striking contrast to the more individualistic culture back home. In the Philippines, it's common for locals to invite newcomers to family gatherings, offer help with navigating daily life, or simply strike up a friendly conversation. That openness creates a sense of belonging that expats often say they couldn't find in the US. Expat communities also thrive here, especially in places like Dumaguete, Cebu, or Angeles City. These networks often blend with local communities, creating spaces where Americans can enjoy both familiarity and cultural exchange. It's not unusual for an American retiree to find themselves attending a local fiesta one weekend and hosting a 4th of July barbecue the next, and the effect runs deep. Many Americans say that in the Philippines, they feel part of something larger than themselves. They're not just foreigners. They're integrated into a culture that values relationships over transactions. For some, that sense of human connection is the most valuable discovery of all. Retirement destination. The Philippines has also become one of the world's top retirement destinations. Much of this is thanks to the Special Resident Retiree Visa, or SRRV, offered by the Philippines Retirement Authority. This program makes it easier for foreigners over 50 to gain long-term residency, access healthcare, and even bring dependents. Healthcare is another major factor. While U.S. healthcare costs can bankrupt retirees, the Philippines offers quality hospitals and clinics at a fraction of the price. Many doctors are U.S. trained, and private health insurance is affordable. For routine checkups, dental care, or even surgery, the costs are often so low that some retirees simply pay out of pocket. Compared to other retirement hotspots like Mexico, Thailand, or Costa Rica, the Philippines has the advantage of widespread English, strong cultural ties to the U.S., and a population known for warmth. Retirees don't feel isolated, they feel welcomed. Beyond the practical, retirement here often means personal rebirth. Many retirees talk about finding second chances, starting hobbies they never had time for, traveling the islands, or even finding love again. Life slows down, but it also expands in unexpected ways. For Americans wondering if their savings will last back home, the Philippines offers not just affordability, but dignity and joy in their later years. Work and business opportunities. It's not just retirees who are making the move. Increasingly, younger Americans are seeing the Philippines as a land of opportunity. With remote work exploding, cities like Manila, Cebu, and Davao have become hubs for digital nomads. Reliable internet, affordable co-working spaces, and lively cafe culture make it easy to work online while living affordably. Some go beyond freelancing. American entrepreneurs have opened everything from beachside resorts to coffee shops, gyms, and even call centers. The Philippines' young, educated workforce, many fluent in English, makes it an attractive place to build small businesses, especially those serving both expats and locals. Then there's the massive outsourcing industry. The Philippines is already a global hub for BPO services, serving American companies in customer support, tech, and finance. Americans with expertise in management or training often find consulting or partnership opportunities here. Of course, it's not always easy. Business laws and bureaucracy can be challenging, and foreigners face restrictions on land ownership. But many small-scale investors find success by partnering with locals and adapting to the market. For digital workers, though, the equation is simple: earn in dollars, spend in pesos. That advantage creates a standard of living that's difficult to match in the US. It's no wonder that the Philippines isn't just a retirement haven. It's becoming a magnet for entrepreneurs, freelancers, and dreamers chasing a more balanced life. Culture and shared values. One of the biggest reasons Americans adapt so well to the Philippines is cultural familiarity. The Philippines has some of the highest English proficiency in Asia, making everything from grocery shopping to signing contracts far easier than in countries where language is a barrier. Add to that the fact that many Filipinos consume American movies, music, and television, and there's already a strong cultural overlap. It's not uncommon to see Filipinos quoting Hollywood films or singing along to classic rock, creating instant points of connection. Family is another shared value. In both the US and the Philippines, family plays a central role, but in different ways. In the Philippines, the family unit often extends to cousins, grandparents, and even close family friends. Americans who move here are often struck by the closeness of Filipino families, with weekend gatherings, shared meals, and an emphasis on caring for elders. For Americans used to more independent lifestyles, this can be both refreshing and eye-opening. Religion also creates familiarity. The Philippines is predominantly Catholic, with churches at the heart of community life. For many American migrants, this shared religious foundation adds comfort and belonging. Traditions like Christmas celebrations feel familiar but are infused with uniquely Filipino warmth, from midnight feasts to extended holiday festivities. The blending of cultures shows up everywhere. In food, where hamburgers and adobo can share the same table. In festivals, 4th of July parties alongside town fiestas. And in music, karaoke nights mixing country songs with Filipino ballads. For many Americans, it's this mix, both familiar and new, that makes life in the Philippines feel like an adventure that doesn't require giving up one's roots. Love, marriage, and family connections. For many Americans, moving to the Philippines isn't just about economics or lifestyle, it's about love. Tens of thousands of US, Filipino marriages have created deep ties between the two countries. Online dating, military service, and travel have all played roles in bringing couples together. And many Americans relocate to be with Filipino spouses or fiancés. The Philippines is known for its family-oriented culture. Many Filipino Americans decide to return home with their partners, raising children in an environment that emphasizes both heritage and modern opportunity. For American spouses, this often means not only embracing a new culture, but also gaining a built-in support network through their Filipino in-laws. Bicultural families thrive in this environment. Children grow up bilingual, celebrating both Halloween and local fiestas, blending two worlds into one. For some Americans, this provides the kind of grounded, community-focused upbringing they felt was missing in the US. There are countless stories of love leading to relocation. A retired US Marine who met his wife in Cebu and chose to settle near her family farm. An American teacher who fell in love during a volunteer trip and built a life in Bohol. Or the many long-distance couples who finally closed the gap by making the Philippines their permanent home. For these expats, the Philippines isn't just a destination. It's the setting for new beginnings, marriages, and families that tie them permanently to the islands. political and social factors pushing Americans out. While the Philippines offers many pull factors, we also have to consider the push. Why so many Americans feel compelled to leave the US in the first place. For many, it starts with economics. The high cost of healthcare, rent, and education in America leaves people feeling trapped. A single hospital bill can wipe out savings, and renting in major US cities has become unaffordable for middle-class families. Social tensions also play a role. The US has become increasingly polarized, with heated debates over politics, identity, and culture creating stress and division. Some Americans simply want to escape the constant pressure of culture wars and live somewhere less confrontational. Then there's lifestyle. The rat race of American cities, long work hours, expensive commutes, and limited vacation time contrasts sharply with the slower, more relaxed pace of life in the Philippines. In interviews, many expats describe reaching a breaking point, burnout from overwork, dissatisfaction with a system that prioritizes profit over people, or simply a desire for peace. One example is a middle-aged nurse from Chicago who grew tired of 12-hour shifts and endless bills. She now lives in Bacolod, working part-time online and spending afternoons at the beach. Another is a young couple from California who left after realizing they'd never be able to buy a home in the US. They now own a modest house in Davao, debt-free. For many, the Philippines represents more than a new country. It represents freedom from a system that felt unsustainable. Challenges and realities. Of course, life in the Philippines is not without its difficulties. Moving abroad comes with trade-offs, and the Philippines is no exception. Infrastructure is often cited as a challenge. Traffic in Metro Manila can be legendary, with 2-hour commutes for relatively short distances. Internet reliability, while improving, can still frustrate digital workers outside major cities. Bureaucracy, too, can be slow, with paperwork and processes that test the patience of newcomers. There are also deeper social issues. Poverty and inequality are visible, especially in big cities. For some Americans, adjusting to this reality is difficult. Misunderstandings can also arise when Western expectations clash with Filipino customs, particularly around time, communication styles, or business practices. Safety is another concern. While most of the country is safe for foreigners, certain regions have higher risks. Petty crime like pickpocketing can happen in crowded areas. Many expats quickly learn how to adapt by choosing safe neighborhoods, relying on local advice, and building strong community ties. Despite these challenges, most Americans agree the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. Many say it's about adjusting your mindset. Instead of demanding perfection, they embrace flexibility. Delays become part of the adventure. Imperfections are outweighed by the richness of relationships, natural beauty, and overall quality of life. The Philippines may not be paradise, but for many, it's close enough. To truly understand why Americans are moving to the Philippines, let's look at a few real-life stories. Take Jim, a retiree from Texas who settled in Dumaguete. Living on a $1,600 Social Security check, he couldn't make ends meet back home. In the Philippines, he rents a comfortable apartment, eats out regularly, and still saves money each month. What started as a budget move turned into a lifestyle he now describes as the happiest chapter of my life. Then there's Sarah, a digital nomad from Oregon. Tired of expensive rents in Portland, she relocated to Cebu, where she runs her graphic design business online. With low living costs, she works fewer hours while still saving more money. Her free time is spent scuba diving, exploring waterfalls, and connecting with a community of other remote workers. Mark, a U.S. Navy veteran, chose Subic Bay. He had fond memories of being stationed there decades ago and decided to return after retirement. The familiar culture, English-speaking locals, and veteran-friendly community made his transition seamless. He now volunteers with local organizations, bridging ties between American vets and Filipino communities. Finally, the Johnson family from Ohio made the bold decision to move with their 2 young kids to Davao. Rising housing costs and stressful jobs had worn them down. In the Philippines, they found a slower rhythm of life. The kids attend an international school, they enjoy regular family outings, and they're even learning Bisaya together. For them, it's not just about affordability, but about raising their children in a more community-focused environment. Each of these stories highlights a different motivation: financial, lifestyle, nostalgia, or family. but they all point to the same truth. The Philippines offers Americans something they feel they've lost at home. Future trends. Will the expat wave grow? Looking ahead, all signs suggest the American expat wave in the Philippines will only continue to grow. Remote work has removed the old barriers that tied people to U.S. cities. With just a laptop and Wi-Fi connection, more Americans are realizing they can live anywhere, and many are choosing the Philippines. The country itself is investing in better infrastructure and digital services, from improved internet coverage to modern airports and highways. These upgrades make it easier than ever for expats to settle comfortably. Another rising trend is medical tourism. With healthcare costs in the U.S. spiraling out of control, more Americans are looking to the Philippines not just for retirement, but for affordable healthcare combined with long-term living arrangements. Retirement villages and senior-friendly developments are already being planned to meet this demand. Some even predict the Philippines could become America's Florida of Asia, a warm, affordable haven where millions of retirees and remote workers flock to escape the high costs and stress back home. Of course, challenges remain, from politics to climate risks, but the trajectory is clear. The Philippines is becoming one of the most attractive destinations for Americans seeking a fresh start. Final reflections. So, why are millions of Americans moving to the Philippines? The reasons are many: lower costs, tropical beauty, welcoming communities, shared culture, and opportunities for both retirees and digital workers. For some, it's about stretching their dollar further. For others, it's about escaping burnout or finding love. But at the heart of it all is a search for a better quality of life. That's not to say the Philippines is perfect. It comes with challenges, from traffic jams to bureaucratic headaches, and it's not for everyone. But for those who make the leap, the rewards are often life-changing. In the end, this trend isn't just about Americans leaving America. It's about rediscovering what matters most: community, health, happiness, and time to truly live. So what about you? Could the Philippines be your second chance? Or at least, does it make you question what home really means? If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And in the comments, let us know, would you ever consider moving abroad? And if so, could the Philippines be the place for you?